Come out of the world, oh my people, seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's ways, Torah Life Ministries.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neese with Torah Life Ministries, and we're looking at this week's Torah portion, which is it's Deuteronomy 26 to Deuteronomy 29. And what we're going to do this week is something interesting. You know, in the Hebrew, they don't read backwards. We actually read backwards, but they read from what we would think is backwards. They start at the back of the book. They start at the front of the book, but their book is backwards, so their front is their back. Okay, if that wasn't confusing for you, here's what we're going to do this week. We're going to look at this week's Torah portion, but we're going to do it in reverse. Because I believe it's very interesting, and Yahweh has shown me to do it this way because it's so important. The first thing I want to look at is the last verse in this week's Torah portion, 29:9. It says, "Therefore, observe the words of this covenant, obey them, so that you can make everything you do prosper." Observe the words of this covenant, so we can make everything prosper. And it says here this week what that covenant is. It goes on to say the covenant which is found in Deuteronomy 26:16 all the way to Deuteronomy 26:19. This is the covenant that Yahweh is telling us to observe so we can make everything prosper in this week's Torah portion. It says, "Today Yahweh your Elohim orders you to obey these laws and rulings. Therefore you have to observe and obey them with all your heart and with all your being. You are agreeing today that Yahweh your Elohim, that you will follow his ways and observe his laws, mitzvahs, and rulings, and do whatever he says. In turn, Yahweh is agreeing today that you alone are his unique treasure, as he promised that you are to observe his mitzvahs, and that he will raise you high among all the other nations in praise and glory, and that as he has said, you will be a holy people for Yahweh." And he goes on to tell people, you know, last week we looked at the Torah, and it really spoke about all the different things we should be doing. It was more commandments or more mitzvahs in last week's Torah portion than any other week. And this week he's telling us the importance of keeping these. You know, that's the covenant right there he's given us. He says, you know, as long as you keep all these things I have given you to do, you know, in return I will raise you amongst all the nations, and I will have you the highest. You'll be my special treasure, my special people. And it's not about a special people of Israelites or anyone else. It's anyone who accepts the covenant. What is that covenant? When you accept Yeshua as your Messiah, you're saying, I agree to the words of this covenant, of the instructions that you have given me, and I will follow them all. And that's what you're saying when you accept Yeshua. In Jeremiah it says, you know, the cursed be those who make a covenant to Yahweh and don't keep it. You know, so we have to keep what he said we need to be doing. So continuing, we're going to go backwards, or go in the other direction today. It says in Deuteronomy 28:58, "If you will not observe and obey all the words of this Torah that are written in this book, so that you will fear this glorious and awesome name of Yahweh your Elohim, then Yahweh will strike you down and your descendants with extraordinary plagues and severe sicknesses that go on and on. He will bring back all the diseases that were in Egypt, which you would dread of, and he will even bring diseases that you never even heard of, until you are destroyed." So he's showing here, you know, he showed us all throughout the scriptures, all throughout the Torah since we got up to this point, about keeping the root pure, keeping the community pure, keeping all dirty things out, keeping all unclean things out, so the root of the community is pure. And here he's telling us, look, you agreeing to keep all these words of what I told you to do, and you're going to keep all of them in your actions with joy, and as long as you do that, I will bless you. But he's also telling them, if you do not, you will have so many diseases among you, so many plagues you do not even know of yet. Not only the plagues you ran away from in Egypt, which were bad enough, but plagues you still do not know of yet. And he goes on to say, going backwards again, Deuteronomy 28:27 says, Yahweh will strike you down with all the boils that broke out in Egypt, the tumors, the skin lesions, the itching, all incurable. Yahweh will strike you down with insanity, blindness, and utter confusion. Why? That's what he's saying will happen if you don't listen. And it's like he's not even striking us down. It's like if we don't listen and we disobey, this is what's going to happen to us. Not because Yahweh's standing there ready to strike us down, but because these are the consequences of living a life against Yahweh's guidelines and instructions. You know, it says in Ezekiel 33:11, "I take no pleasure in the death of wicked people. I only want them to change from their wicked ways so they can live." Yahweh is not waiting there to say, well, you didn't follow me, so you're going to be punished with disease. Yahweh is warning us, follow me so you're not punished with disease. And then he's saying, look, if you don't follow me, this is what's going to be the consequences of. I don't want that. You're my children, but you're bringing it upon yourself. And it goes on to say in 28:1, if you will listen closely to what Yahweh, your Elohim, says, observing and obeying all the mitzvahs which he has given you today, Yahweh, your Elohim, will raise you high above all the nations on the earth. And all the following blessings will be yours in abundance, if you do what Yahweh says. And it goes down in chapter 28 listing all these wonderful blessings that we won't get into today, but I do want to get into 28:11 of Deuteronomy, where it says, Yahweh will give you great abundance in good things. In good things. He'll give you abundance in good things. That sounds like a wonderful blessing for observing his word. It goes on to say in chapter 28 here in 28:13, if you will listen and observe all the mitzvahs that Yahweh has given you and not turn away from the words I am ordering you to today, neither to the right to the left, but follow other gods and serve them. So Yahweh is saying, keep focused on my word. Don't let anything else distract you, and you will be blessed, and these blessings will be upon you. And it goes on to say here, going backwards again, in 26:11, it says, take joy in all the good things Yahweh has given you. He's brought them to a land of milk and honey, flowing with milk and honey. But he tells them, it starts off this week with the first fruits. You know, I've given you all this stuff. Show me your appreciation. Give me back the first fruits. You know, it says in the scriptures, the heart reveals the actions of the man. You know, and our heart is going to reveal what we're at. Our actions are going to be revealed by where our heart is and vice versa. So we must follow Yahweh's guide with joy. We see this week's Torah getting more and more deep into what they must do and the blessings that come along with it. I do not believe in karma. Karma is a new age thing. It's a, you know, here's the problem with the new ages, everybody. Because this week what we show here is Yahweh shows the Israelites, when you go into the new land, if you follow all my instructions, I will bless you. But if you do not follow all my instructions, I will curse you. He had the tribes go on two mountains. One mountain was called evil and one mountain was called blessings. And he had the Levites stand in the middle of those mountains and read all these instructions and warnings and saying, if you do these, you're blessed. If you're not, you're cursed. But here's the problem. You know, I come from a New Age background. I'm no longer in that New Age background, but that's where I come from. And they have this saying, and they try to twist Scripture around. And the saying is, ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. You see, that's a karma thing. That's a New Age thing. Ask and you shall receive. That's not a Yahweh thing. A Yahweh thing is ask, obey, and you shall receive. Ask, obey, and you shall receive. So there's an action that has to take place. And Yahweh blessed them and continued to give them blessings. And he said, I will continue to give you blessings as long as you continue to follow my word. But if you get away from it and you do anything but what I tell you to do, then you will get the opposite of those blessings. You'll get those curses. You see, when the Israelites went to take over, when they passed the Jordan and went to go into the promised land, Yahweh said, do all these things, destroy these people, destroy their pagan idols and everything else, and destroy all of them. And he said, if you do that, you will be blessed. But if you don't do that, what was supposed to happen to them will happen to you. And I believe to this day, this is why we continue to suffer from these things right here, because the Israelites went in and they did not do all Yahweh told them to do. But we have an answer. If we do all we can do today, Yahweh will bless us. He will save us. He will pull us out. All right, everybody. Well, that's this week's Torah Parashah. I hope everyone out there has a wonderful Shabbat at the end of the week, coming towards next week. And until then, have a great week, everybody. And if you have any questions, just post them below the videos and we'll get to them. And we'll answer all your questions on TorahLife.tv. Tell all your friends about this new channel of mine on YouTube. You can just go on YouTube to The Health Watchman is the channel on YouTube. Or you can go to my website, TorahLifeMinistries.org, and just go to the videos. Or to make it as easy as possible, just go to www.TorahLife.tv, and each day I will give a new video pertaining to the scriptures and what they have to say about health and many other topics. Until then, everybody, this is Paul Neeson saying, have a great day, and we'll see you again soon at Torah Life Ministries.
Come out of the world, oh my people, seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's ways.